Welcome to The Breakdown, where we break down all the messed up movies. Today we talk about Portraits of Andrea Palmer, and this is a long time coming. One of the directors himself, C. Hurston, has given me the honor of talking about this 2018 Descent into Hell. You're gonna get Bunny Games vibes, SVD vibes, and even some Easter eggs towards Tamakichi Anaru's films. Katrina Zova plays Andrea Palmer, a cam girl who struggles with her identity and purpose following a mental breakdown that her audience saw. So she continues down a road of abuse and bad decisions throughout this movie. In a lot of ways, this is like Metamorphosis, the hentai manga. Like that manga, it's torturous, but it's about the pleasure too. There are lots of close-ups on unsimulated woo-hoo scenes, meaning I can't show a lot here, but hey, that's what my second channel SpookyRice is for. If you haven't subscribed, you're missing out. You can buy Portraits of Andrea Palmer on MassacreVideo.com. But you want to see what happens, including all the messed up parts, stay tuned for the breakdown. Cue the Gohan. We start off very eerie, the kind of sound you would love to hear as you sleep at night. I could write a whole report on this vibe. Chris Act 1, The White Mare. Time to get up. 8 a.m. class waiting on you, no time for breakfast, your stomach's gonna be growling all in class. Already, this is giving me Bunny Games and Slaughtered Vomit Doll vibes, but unlike Slaughtered Vomit Dolls, it's a lot more coherent. She's a drug user. All of the drugs go in her system. After she gets done taking a 10-second shower, she resumes her mix of self-hatred and usual boring morning. I already like it better than SVD, and the sound effects are hitting your eardrums. After she does another hit of Heisenberg's Blue Sky, it is revealed that she is a cam girl. She goes live with plugs and other toys doing what she always does. Her audience though, you.
You're a piece of shit. I would never do that shit. Fucking dick-sucking motherfucker.
Now, if you thought that part was crazy, she has a breakdown in front of the audience.
Huh? You think that's all I'm good for? This?
You didn't see anything, but I can't show you what she did at all. But somebody in the chat says something good for once. This person says she has great potential, hoping to discuss her future. That fool already has her number. Red flag number 1.
You understand why I did that? I feel like I'm better than that.
Yeah, you are better than that. But the person on the phone tells her that an opportunity for her is in the mist, a paid one. So she leaves the next day to go on a trip. While she is dressing, I feel like I hear a baby crying, but that could just be from another room in the building. Act 2. She flies to good old Los Angeles, a much more colorful place, I suppose. She looks happy and nervous, way better than black and white get the noose ready. The blue cab lets her off, and this is the opportunity. Sooner or later, she realizes that the person who called her stood her up, made her fly out to LA, promising a better career, and was a no-show, but that was kind of dumb on her part. When I do a sponsored part of the video, there's more communication. He calls you once and you get ready to go to LA. What? But still, that's scary. To be tricked like that and away from home. Soon she sees an ad on Craigslist promising $200 a week for photos. Once she goes to the address, which I'm sure she needed Google Maps for, she finds a place that would be a good mission setting for a Grand Theft Auto game. Surprisingly, the guy who put in the ad, Mr. Janos here, is not as creepy as I thought. He speaks nervous and awkward, but it does feel realistic. But he fumbles so much that it gets kinda creepy. This seems to be an amateur adult video shoot, not as bad as I thought. I thought it was gonna be a Serbian film crazy, but glizzies get devoured soon on camera. That's all we're gonna say. And Andrea is really liking the scene so far. She likes it so much that she eventually joins in, but after the scene, she feels insecure about herself. She gets into an argument with the Mr. Janos guy because he doesn't pay her for the performance. He's the one that goaded her to get on camera. He should have paid her a little bit. Act 3. So how is she surviving in LA? She works as an escort doing a lot of things I can't show. Clearly, this is a downward spiral of mistakes we've seen before. We've seen it in Bunny Games. We saw it in Girl Loss, even saw it in Lilia Forever. This is like the more explicit and gritty version of Girl Loss, by the way. But clearly, this movie is not as violent, and it's not just about the bad decisions and the consequences. It's like a sandwich, because in the middle of that sandwich is pleasure. Pleasure is a big part of this movie with all the close-ups of coitus. Act 4. It's like a gritty, dramatic version of Tumbling Doll of Flesh at this point. I say that because she takes part in BDSM and Animus. This guy has her doing whatever she can for money, but truthfully, I don't know if she hates it or not. Which is fine if she is safe. She organizes an appointment with a client, and she has an excellent voice for a receptionist. She should get a job as a receptionist, then she could move up as a saleswoman and eventually an office administrator. All she do is walk around, and she seems to know where everything is without using a map. If that van doesn't look suspicious, I don't know what does. Would you believe it's only been 3 days since she came to LA? Anyway, the man in the van is interesting. He's asking her life story. Sounds like she needed to talk since she's opening up well. He tells her a story about one of his friends who was in a similar line of work.
I had a friend, I don't know where she is now, named Leslie. She once said to me, as long as you've got a vagina, you'll never starve.
Now guys, your assignment today is to find any woman who starved to death and say, am I a joke to you? He is paying her just to talk. He asks her why she is sad and what is her goal.
I want to know why you're sad, because you appear to be sad.
I have a daughter. I need her back.
Wow, I'm glad we are finding this out now. I had no idea. He talks to her about his childhood, and sometimes talking to people is good to learn about yourself. Literally, all they do is walk around this area, which I'm sure some of you have seen before, and they talk. I was so scared that this dude would be some kind of serial killer like Zodiac Killer 50 years later, but he's actually a good person. Almost like a random father figure out of nowhere. It's just like that moment in the movie Kids where, I forgot her name, but you know, the girl, she had AIDS and she was in a taxi with this taxi driver that was just so go-lucky positive. Act 5. She arrives back to her apartment or wherever, but the door is wide open. Her pimp is there forcing her to do explicit mouth woohoo. The scene ended as explicitly as possible. I won't front, sometimes the dubbing that is done is like Resident Evil 1996. We get into the crazy now. The self-mutilation, the horror of it all gives me those women's flesh vibes. Act 6, everything will be alright. Will everything be alright? Andrea calls her sister telling her she's sober, has a modeling job now, but her sister doesn't trust her. Andrea must have had a terrible relationship with her sister. After a long woohoo shoot, she kills her pimp, hitting him in the heart. I ain't gonna miss him. But then right after that, it's like deja vu here. Andrea basically performs seppuku and has her guts laying in her hand as she dies. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the portraits of Andrea Palmer. Now, I want to say that that was way better than Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. I'm bringing that movie up because it had a similar theme of a woman literally being flushed down a toilet of drugs and perversion. This movie is what I thought Slaughtered Vomit Dolls would be. It's a very explicit movie, but it captures that numbness perfectly. Numb to having to do sexual acts to survive. The beginning of the movie really pisses you off because of how weird those chat viewers are. This is like somebody's dad saying this kind of stuff. Maybe it just pisses me off because I know if I had to read that kind of stuff whenever I went live or even uploaded a video, I would have quit long time ago. Overall, I wish Andrea had a better support group and didn't stay in the explicit work. She would have made an excellent receptionist. Another reason to hate drugs too. Drugs turn people into unhealthy liars, and your own family turns their back on you. It's really scary being on your own, being insecure and having no money. And it's not safe for her to be in this kind of work. But now that we got through the end, let's talk about the most disturbed moment and most enjoyed moment, and that's spooky stuff. Cue the Gohan. Most disturbed moment would most likely be between the live breakdown she had where she was devouring Lizzie toys, wondering if that's all she was good for, or any of the scenes of Andrea using a toothbrush in the unintended way. Those women's flesh, my red guts callbacks are kinda scary in a 2018 modern format. Most enjoyed moment has to be when Andrea has a moment of peace with that older man. Just peaceful, talking about their life experiences, proving not all people are careless and want to buy you like an object. Moments of unexpected peace are always God tier. Not everybody buys Craigslist ads to talk to sex workers, so I guess that stinks enough. So how do I end this video? I like the movie a lot. It wasn't too rough with the unsimulated scenes. Violence was there, Easter eggs was there. It was a cool watch all throughout. I usually get bored now and then, but I didn't get bored with this movie. I watched it all in one sitting, which is very surprising for me to say. I think this movie is a nice piece of extreme media to have in your collection, though I know most of you are probably just here because I shine the path that y'all are too scared to go down on your own, and that's okay. I want to thank Mr. Hurston for allowing me to make a video on this movie, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to check out the SpookyRice companion video to get some more looks into this violence and the Easter eggs to some of Japan's extreme films made by Tamakichi and Aru. Anyway, thanks for watching. Spooky out.